We return once more to the black depths of the Unterzee, having just left the Chapel of Lights with some vital new intel that will eventually take me all the way back to Stoddard's Haven. But for now, we spent a lot of time at sea. It's time to head back to the London underneath. Maybe I can make it all the way to the western coastline first, though. Hopefully avoid a lifeberg. November 23rd, 1888. Fed the crew. Codex is some distance to the northwest. Boreal Reach. Is this snow? Touch it and it puffs to vapor. Your crew huddles close to the warmth of the pipe. Discovered sensors arch. Oh, snowstorm. Not a good situation to be in. My voyage is slowed to a crawl. But I can take out a lifeberg, maybe, while I'm struggling through the snow. Seems to be just as impeded by the snow as I am, which is a little odd considering it's a sentient lifeberg. The crawling stars. The lookout shouts. Far above, the false stars in the cavern roof are shifting, a rare and ominous event. What now? I could have a 50% chance if I record the change and assign a name. The new shape seems well-omened, your crew may be cheered. Who knows? I think I can risk this. Record the change and assign a name. A darkness. 3 of the false stars wink out altogether, as suddenly as closed eyes. The pattern that remains is as hopeless and meaningless as cast dice. Somewhere, a sailor begins to sob. I was unlucky and gained 2 terror. Fortunately, I was lucky in battle. I'll be even luckier still if the snowstorm ever lets up. You've destroyed a lifeberg. Take a moment to enjoy your victory, then poke through the fragments. I seem to be doing alright on supplies. It's fuel that I'm low on. So I'll concentrate on gathering treasures. You need more money than edibles. A remnant of an earlier victim. Something valuable, perhaps. Regardless, you'll have a tale to tell. What's inside? A rich, wild scent. Whatever's in these barrels smells heavenly. Peaches! Such peaches, amber and dawn. A Zeman snaffles one and is caught when the taste makes him burst into tears. Pack them carefully. Don't bruise them. Gained 5 supplies and lost 2 terror. Thanks, Lifeberg. November 25th, 1888. On the horizon, a sickly yellow glow. A sickly yellow light glimmers for a moment, then fades. Almost through. Discovered Pickett's Bluff. Fed the crew. Dust echoes, even a sepia tint to the air. These are the waters around the tomb colonies. Quick little stop off at the tomb colony of Vanderbite. It's no trouble to explore Vanderbite. Carmine Chapel. A little chapel stands alone. You poke your head through the door. The walls are a deep red, just this side of scarlet. A ruby-tinted window at the back glows with steady light. An electric lamp behind the glass? Rare and yet expensive, but this is no gaslight. No one is here, and yet you have the sensation that only a moment ago someone must have been. I make an offering with half-familiar rites. I've done this before. Moving as if asleep, you place a candle at each corner of the altar. When the rites are done, you clean the chapel carefully, for the next to pass this way. Peace lies on your mind like a sheen of oil. You stow your supplies in the hold of the ship. There are no witnesses. And a quick gathering of gossip. But this was just a quick stop on the way. Let's see, how is the tireless mechanic doing? I still need a serpent trap to let him enjoy his sleep. But I can't always increase my veils. Not today. I think I've pretty much discovered all there is to discover in this immediate vicinity. There's a big black spot on the map, but I'm almost positive there's nothing there. Home waters. Sailors dawdle at the rail, watching for the lights of London. November 26th, 1888. A brisk spatter of spray. The Unterzee is restless. Finally home. The Revenue Men. Her Enduring Majesty's Customs Service works closely with both the Ministry of Public Decency and the Masters of the Bazaar. Today they have selected you for an inspection. Don't cheek them. I can let them do their worst. Ooh. And I can also for sure set something aside. They needn't know every little trinket you have. The freest of trades. They tramp up and down your freshly mopped stairwells in their nasty boots. They poke and pry and prod, but they find nothing. The lights of London welcome you home. Collect messages from the harbour master. All the clatter and song of the dockside, it soothes the soul. Are there messages for you? What's this? Let's see. You have a free evening. The Rose Market bustles. That's all for now. Something has changed, and someone wants to sign on. Fall in London, deep, dark, and marvelous. All voyages start here, and this is where successful voyages end. The Merchant Venturer, an urchin tugs your sleeve. Governor wants a word. A brooding figure waits at the lamplight's edge. Speak to the Merchant Venturer. I have need of a reliable agent. Failing that, an inventive one. Here are my requirements. An opportunity for profit. He has very specific needs, but he'll pay much better than market rates. And he won't ask how you came by these things. The venturer has a request. Like something warming. They sell it in Mount Palmerston, somewhere in the north of the Unterzee. 1,000 echoes for 7 sealed skins. Or something spicy. They harvest it in Wither, to the north along the coast. 700 echoes. Looking for some muter salt. Perhaps not. Take a visit to the Clatherman. 28 terror. You're a real sailor now, after all. A visit to Clathermont's tattoo parlor. You could go to one of those tobacco and prey places by the docks, but the prices at Clathermont's are reasonable and his daughters are real artists. But what sign will you choose? The Dauntless Hand commemorates your daring. The Wheel of Mists commemorates your sailor's skills. The Unflinching Eye, you've seen such sights. The Splendor, something to recall brighter days. The Gambit. Some of Clathermont's tattoos are coded messages for spies. Perhaps you have a hidden motive. Or remain unblemished. If you wanted your memories on your skin, you'd be a squid. Let's see here. Gotta work up my veils, but veils are not available right now. Failing that, iron. I've seen many terrible things. A new you. The gold needle pricks. Lily Clathermont hums. The design is complete, scales mapping your fingers like a gauntlet. Wear it proudly. Next to the Alarming Scholar. The Alarming Scholar is mercurial, to say the least. I could certainly increase my favors, but I never know when I'll need these things. Have a lot of extraordinary implications. And I have no idea what else to do with an intriguing snippet, so I'll leave the university. Back to London. With a quick visit to see who my new recruit is. Who awaits your attention? The Presbyterian adventuress, or Maybe's daughter. An engineer, which I already have. Or a gunnery officer, which I don't. The Presbyterian adventuress. Afternoon, my lord. Looking for a gunnery officer. I'd like to help you blow up some monsters if you'll have me. Oh, hello, Captain. Is this one of yours? I had to knock her about a bit. She didn't like taking orders from foreigners. Still, we're good friends now. The adventuress claps the black-eyed sailor on the back. Oddly enough, they do seem to be friends now. And assigning the officer to her new position. Perhaps she's afraid of being forgotten. She isn't afraid of much else. All's well, Captain. Did you need something? Could be time for a nice dinner. Captain's cabin, is it? All right. But I want a coffee sorbet for dessert. What? I like coffee sorbet. No sorbet, no dinner. Excuse me, someone's caught fire again. A pleasant evening. Yes, I was in the Navy. Did you think I'd stolen the uniform? I retired before they threw me out. She grins and spoons more sorbet onto her plate. I'm older than I look. We're all older than we look to you people. I now have a Z story. Lost some coffee, though. Oh, let's carouse about London. A marvelous night out. Sea shanties, fine food, and the warmth of a pub fire. And something more. That night in Wolfstack, you find yourself sharing a table with the dapper chap. It's not such a coincidence, he protests. I had to meet a ship from home. Another one. His eyes meet yours. But it's good to see you. A few hours together, shared warmth, new memories. It's harder to say goodbye this time. Take a quick look at who's at the Rose Market. A jovial contrarian is purchasing long boxes. His wheeled chair squeaks through the crowd. As all visitors to the Rose Market must, he carries a mirror. He's painted over the glass, though, with the face of a bat. A dauntless temperance campaigner is cooing at your live specimen. She was here to protest against the shadow puppet production of the honey harvest, but passes her placard to one of her supporters. How much for the beastie? Perhaps not, though. A visit to the dark-spectacled admiral. Can pass on some strategic information or submit vital intelligence. What's that? Tell me quickly. Not so fast. Make sure I don't have more than one vital intelligence for you. I can make sense of a telling detail. Of course, that's why. That's where. And now you know who. Some vital intelligence. Enthusiastic nods. I'm glad you brought this to me. I have a colleague of sorts, a diplomat, so-called. I will tell you because I trust you. This diplomat will pay better, but I will put the information to better use. He leans forward. There are powers in this world that I cannot speak of. There are affairs of the Navy I am not proud of. Bring me more information like this. We can set matters right. A hissed breath. I'm especially glad you brought this to me, rather than you-know-who, our mutual acquaintance. 2 streets over. This should go directly to my friend at the palace instead. The dark-spectacled admiral is loyal to London. This has shifted the political balance. Ask the admiral what he thinks of the voracious diplomat. The diplomat, a half-legendary, all-infamous figure, whose connection to the admiralty is obscure. A frank scowl. An unprincipled scoundrel, the admiral snaps. If you have intelligence, bring it to me. Don't go off the books. Ask if there's anything in particular he needs. Retrieve strategic information from Mount Palmerston, somewhere northeast of London. Submit your port reports. Mount Palmerston. The Brimstone Convention. They trouble me, Captain. Venderbite. What have the nearly dead been up to, then? Shepherd's Isles. Submit as fact. Definitely don't have enough for that. Submit as unsubstantiated hearsay. We do hear some unlikely tales of that place. Friendly scoffing. I agree. It does seem implausible. So many of the stories from that place do. Still, there is a little gold of truth in the mud of rumor from time to time. Your payment, my lord. Nuncio. Ah, yes. That place that lures away postmen. One hears no end of complaints from the postal service. Chapel of Lights. There's something about the Unterzee that breeds heresy and dissent. I rather think we might need to send the Bishop of Southwark out for a good bit of Christian shouting. Empire of Hands. Oh, goodness. What are those accursed monkeys up to these days? You didn't bring any of them back with you, did you? Report submitted. Such a ghastly place. A pause. You know, there was somebody here asking about it only recently. Delightful lady, as I recall. Most delightful. Yes, I shall take the liberty of forwarding her your address. Something new awaits you at your lodgings. The Chelinate. Is it still as revolting as they say? What about the smell? Frostfound. Is it as beautiful as they say? I doubt it. Poets are notorious liars. But liars make bad poets. A paradox, isn't it? Never mind. Your report? Iram. Oh God. Oh God, what tense is it written in? Oh God. Look, just read it to my colleague here. He'll give you your fee. I'll be over there when you're done. And finally... that seems to be it. Turn to the Wolfstack docks. I've prowled through London. I'll pick up that. I have not visited the voracious diplomat. The diplomat lairs near Mansion's Pyre, in a second-floor office above a gymnasium for pugilistic ladies and gentlemen. Your conversation is punctuated by distant shouts and blows. The diplomat smiles fondly at the sounds. Ask about the diplomat's role. What kind of diplomacy is involved? A catly grin. The kind of diplomacy that doesn't get written down. I'm attached to the Admiralty, not the Foreign Office. London is not what she was, but she still has interests abroad. I look after them as best I can. I do hope you're patriotic enough not to ask for too many details. Ask about the Dark Spectacle Admiral. Do they work closely together? A carefully neutral expression. Oh, well now, the Admiral is a man of principle. Very straightforward, very traditional in his views. I think it's rather courageous of him to expect the Navy to operate without outside assistance. And he has excellent taste in both chamber music and wine. I hope that makes my feelings clear. Pick up an agent. I have a friend, the diplomat says casually, who would be grateful for passage somewhere else, the Khanate, for instance. This will allow you to establish an intelligence network and sometimes grow it later. A name, an address. Both are probably temporary, but they're all you need. Perhaps not. Finally, stop at my lodgings. An invitation to Benthic College. Your travels have caught someone's attention. Benthic College is pleased to invite you to an exclusive and educational evening with Lady Agatha Treadgold, delightful adventuress and raconteuse of thrilling true tales of feist and spunk. On the back is a scribbled note. Come speak to me afterwards, darling. Opportunity beckons. Attend the lecture. Opportunities are always worth exploring, at least. A trip to Benthic. Benthic is the most open-minded of the London colleges. You find yourself waiting for the lecture in a queue of students, devils, and bohemians, observed with some scorn by passers-by in Somerset colors. The delightful adventuress. Her feet have trodden lands most in the Neath have never even heard of. Her eyes have seen every opportunity for fame and glory while there. An evening with the delightful adventuress. Whoever she is, she knows how to pack a hall. Not a seat is empty as she takes the stage. The fine cuisine of the Shelinet, the darling claymen, all but a prelude, my dears. Her stories tend toward the fanciful and conveniently unprovable, but the delightful adventuress has the credulous audience spellbound for hours. Many of her tales of monsters and lost cities have a common theme. She visited them ahead of a certain Lady Leonora Fortescue, the quite adorable daring archaeologist with whom she sparked a bracing rivalry back at finishing school. The rest are tales, bitter as the sourest grapes, of being cheated of triumphs by the very same Fortescue, whose fanciful fictions are fit only for the penny dreadfuls. By the end, her stories are notably more bitter than boastful. She still receives a standing ovation. A business proposition. The delightful adventuress's masked clayman Barnabas escorts you to the principal of Benthic's study, where she sits, sipping brandy by the fire. Ah, my dear Capitano! Firelight glints in her eyes as she raises the glass. I hear you were recently returned from the empire of, monkeys? Hands, yes, of course. It is a rare breed that can make such a voyage. Foolhardy, too, perhaps. She sips her brandy. I wish to charter your no doubt fine vessel to that primitive little island chain. There I shall find what I need to show up the infernal Leonora Fortescue once and for all, and you—" The delightful adventuress squints, sizing you up. "Sufficient compensation will not be a difficulty. A most mutually beneficial arrangement, you will agree. Except, it is a long voyage, but you know the way." "Splendid!" The delightful adventuress drains her glass dry. "Then we shall see you upon the morrow for the voyage. Barnabas, pack my valise. Adventure awaits." You now have the delightful adventuress. Oh, I thought she would be... Nope, she's in the hold. She is cargo. Beneath's greatest explorer, in her own mind at least. Take her and her bodyguard to the Empire of Hands. Does her bodyguard show up? No, I suppose not. Well, there is a lot of adventuring to be done. Before I do that, I should stock up on things. Make sure I've got enough fuel to get around. Add a few supplies. And then venture back the way I came, I suppose. I'm going to break here and skip over some of the boring parts, and then we'll return on the morrow.